Welcome. So it's Monday, new week, new month. It's the 1st of July. Absolutely love July, and it's my favorite month of the year. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm really excited to be here on this live. And today we're gonna talk about our thoughts and that we are not our thoughts. So on Friday we talked about our emotions, that we're not our emotions, and we went into the feeling, and I connected it with the Saturday's practice where we went into how to breathe into our feelings, into our emotions that arise within our body. And today we're gonna talk about thoughts which come up in your mind. So whenever we feel overwhelmed, whenever we go into overthinking, or whenever we feel like there are voices in our head telling us something, those are our thoughts, but those are thoughts that we have actually received, okay? And especially, this is very a good self-understanding tip. If you go into the human design, I talked about the human design in a different life. So if you check your human design and if you understand if your head center is open or closed, if you're experiencing migraines, I dare to say that your head center must be open, which means you're receiving everything. Everything you hear, everything you see, everything someone says, all this is programming your mind. So let's imagine the mind as a database through which then it connects to you as what information it's sending you and your body. Okay, but we need to understand that our mind is a tool that has been given to us. We must be grateful of how capable our mind is. But if we don't use it wisely, let's say, and we aren't aware of using it, it starts using us. And this is when we get into self-punishing patterns. That's when we get into painful patterns, into overthinking, into overanalyzing things, into anxiety, depression, any overwhelming, unbalanced state is where we have given up the power we have here, the power to choose our thoughts in this case, and we have given the power to our mind, but our mind doesn't know what's our purpose here. It's not on its own. It can't work on its own, because then, okay, yes, it starts controlling us. Our mind starts using us, but it's not a negative way. Our mind doesn't know a better way. We are the leaders of our lives. We must step into our power, which is connected to our essence, which then can receive the sense of intuition, the sense of knowing, the knowing deep inside that we always have. Okay, we have this ability as beings. But if we disconnect from ourselves, from our essence, from our nature that is being, we can't really disconnect, but we, for some period of time, we believe that what our mind is saying is true. And this is where we can spiral into uncomfortableness, uncomfortable situations. This is when migraine arises, because there's just so much stuff going on, but we are connecting ourselves to our thoughts, so to that database. But you need to understand your mind is a thought, your mind is a tool, and you choose your thoughts, which you're gonna enter into your belief system. Those are the beliefs. Belief has nothing to do with religion. Belief is what we choose, what thought we choose to take as our own, and we can choose whichever thought. In this understanding, the world is neutral, every situation is neutral, everything in its core is neutral. Therefore, we're not choosing between good or bad. So don't get mixed up with this, because it's not about choosing the right or the wrong. It's about choosing what is okay for you, what's sustainable for you. You choose where you direct your attention and your energy. And with this, you also need to choose your thoughts, what you're gonna believe is true. And this is actually what then creates our reality, the combination of how we use our mind, how we become responsible for the tool we have been given, that is our mind, and we become responsible for choosing the thoughts. And we are responsible in cleansing our mind, in maintaining our mind, in harmonizing it. It doesn't have this ability on its own if you don't teach it to have it. Okay, so if you don't practice on a daily basis, work with your mind, the mind programming, choice, a conscious selection of your thoughts, then you're just taking everything in. Whatever anyone says, you're taking it all in. And you're taking it as truth, because our mind doesn't distinguish between reality and illusion. Whatever we believe becomes our reality. Whatever we believe. And we can choose what we believe. This is why in our reality, the situations that occur don't occur because we are bad or good people. They occur based on what we have chosen to believe, but we might have chosen this subconsciously when we were children, before we had the ability to decide for ourselves. But we carry this, so this is again the bag of stuff we carry. But we don't want to get rid of the bag of stuff. We don't want to get rid of those beliefs, because many of them have formed us, have shaped us into who we are today. Many of them have enabled us this possibility to create this world that we are living in now, which are infinite possibilities. But also, we can choose how we view every single situation. So, for example, the situation we have right now, unlimited possibilities. Great, you create your own opportunities. You have all different, you have the internet, you have social media, you have all the information available for your usage. And we choose how we believe, what we believe about this. Because that's a neutral situation. The internet has been created, it's neutral. It's just a database, and everything actually computers create. I'm studying AI now, or investing. Even investing is neutral. It's just moving your money somewhere, moving your energy. Okay? All of this is neutral. Investing money, paying things, studying things, using the internet, using something, using social media. All of this is neutral in its essence. You must, in a way, understand, you must know that if you think about it, if you're honest with yourself, investing means moving your assets, taking them out, diverting your energy. Investing your energy is neutral in its essence. But we choose the belief we have connected to this. So we can choose that the internet is bad or good. This is what we choose to believe. We could view it as neutral, or we could say it harms people and it benefits people. Okay, so this is where the choice begins, and this is where you need to understand you are not your thoughts. You are not what's running in your head. Those are just possibilities, opportunities for you to create a choice what you want to believe, what will be true for you. Okay? For example, with money, that's a great example where a lot of stuff keeps coming up about money. And then in that case, when you have the limiting belief, it will create an emotion. That's where we connect with the body. So for example, we will be paying with a feeling of uncomfortableness, with anxiety, so those are emotions that arise that's the energy in motion that comes up with a certain situation. So you must become an observer of these situations. Where does it come up? Where is it coming up? And so this is connecting about you're not your emotions, okay? For me, it works like this, that first come the emotions, and then I have to go deeper into what is the story that I'm telling myself? What do I believe with that emotion? Okay, so hello, welcome. What do I believe with that emotion arising? So for me, it's first in that situation, some emotion comes up. It can be during, if we connect it to money, so then paying and some emotion arises. And with that emotion, the thoughts arise. What is the story? What are the limiting beliefs? And all of these come in the package of stuff that we've gathered this along our way, along our journey, by education, with what we heard from our parents, from people around us, everyone who had an opinion. We took it all in and we formed our own belief. And you must understand that what you believe about money or life or relationships or something, whatever situation in your life, that's your belief. Those are your thoughts and you can change them. Probably they're going to resemble those of your ancestral line. The beliefs are probably going to resemble those of your family, those in the line before you, because we not only inherit some characteristics or predisposition to disease, or because it is actually neutral. It's a predisposition, it's a possibility. Okay? Same way we inherit the predisposition of thinking, because the way our parents and their parents were thinking, it's most probably a way that we are thinking. But we must, if we become conscious of this, we can change the way we're thinking. The way we choose between what's possible for us and what's not possible, and what was possible for them. Because we are in a different time, so we must embrace this. Embrace the possibilities, or we don't have to. We can get them overwhelm us. There's too much. It's too much. Okay? Too much information, too much. And we can spiral into the negativity of like how harmful this all is. The social media, how dangerous the life is becoming, how there's too much information. Because back then, we had less information, the life was better. It's not true. This is the story we're telling ourselves. And we can choose the way we view the story. Best way, an anchoring moment is, it's neutral. Yes, I came here now, I'm in this life now. But the information, the fact that there's internet, I didn't really have much to do with that. Okay, it was a collective formation that was formed with the intention to benefit the world. Of course, whenever there's something that should benefit, it has the shadow of itself. Every aspect, like love, the aspect of love is fear. It is an aspect, you can't separate these. Those are the polarities. But we always have a choice between the thoughts, and then with the emotion, that's a combination. Okay, so we can choose the overwhelming, how there's too much, how we can't find our way, or we choose to find our way and we choose to see it as abundance. There's so many opportunities for me right now, therefore I am going to take it as a privilege that I have so many opportunities. I can create a business online. I can work remotely. I can travel anywhere in the world. These are the possibilities, and I can choose to take them, use them, create a different reality than the ancestors have had, my ancestors, my family line have had. I can do that or not. That is the choice. That is the same with choosing our thoughts. Because if I want to take these steps, I want to take action, and I want to see whatever is presented to me as an opportunity. I want to believe I do it with a good intention, therefore it will only benefit others. For example, my lives are here openly. I leave them here openly for anyone to take whatever is there for them. Okay, whatever is here for you will find you. I trust that this is a way of me giving my wisdom or sharing my wisdom, and whoever needs to find this, because what I have learned is to heal myself, to heal my pain, not to be experiencing chronic pain anymore. And I learned this through the choices I made, how I chose or how I became aware of selecting my thoughts, selecting my emotions, and not connecting to them. Okay? So this is a choice, and then we can choose to see everything as abundance, everything as so many opportunities. And yes, and also we choose to accept, to receive, and to give away. So this, we must do the selection, not only with materialistic things. Obviously we choose which sources are aligned with us and where we receive money from, or where we give our money into. Whatever you pay for is where you put your energy, because energy is money, and you have transformed your own energy into money, however you did that, and then you're giving. So wherever you're directing not only your attention, your energy, and your money, your time, this is your choice, okay? And this all creates and strengthens the database of your mind. And this is where, once we can feel like it gets out of control, once we get into some imbalance, it's because we haven't been doing the selection. We have been receiving maybe more, and we haven't been giving, because we haven't been giving also can mean letting go of the thoughts that no longer serve me. Because if I want to implement change into my life, I must maintain the balance of receiving and giving. So I'm receiving all the stuff, all the information, all the time we're receiving. But if we're also not letting go of the old that contradict themselves, for example, these thoughts, that a thought of maybe in my ancestor line was earning money is hard, and my thought, I choose to completely take the opposite way, and I choose to have a thought, earning money is easy, it's simple, it's natural, most natural thing. This is what I can choose. This is a thought that I can choose to implement into my life. But with that, I have to let go of that thought, earning money is hard. And it may take some time, because it might have created paths in your brain. It might have created layers on top of each other, because you've been told this many, many years. You've programmed yourself to believe this. But then the world has changed and you have different possibilities. But you must let go of that other belief, the limiting belief, the thought that no longer resonates. Because if you keep both, then obviously there's going to be a collision and the overwhelming comes. That's where the patterns of uncomfortableness arise, like migraine, like chronic pain, like anxiety, like depression. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes when we don't do the selection consciously, when we don't select between our thoughts and we take them as truth, where we identify with our thoughts and we learn to believe that we are our thoughts. In my line, I have believed this, blah, 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 blah. Therefore, this is my reality and I have to believe it. Because why? Why are we scared of letting go of these thoughts? Naturally, we want approval. We seek approval naturally. We seek approval from our parents. We want our parents to be naturally proud of us. And we are scared that we are gonna fulfill their expectations. But this is all a story we tell ourselves. This is going on in our lives. For our parents, usually we're gonna be loved unconditionally. However, they chose to show us this. Okay, but that's about the story I am telling myself. I must understand that whatever story is there, that we're usually scared to let go of old patterns, old beliefs, old thoughts, because what happens if for me life is easy, life is pain-free, life is abundant, okay, with a different financial mindset, with a different self-healing mindset. What if my life is amazing and it wasn't for people in my line? Then that's the collision, that's the conflict. Because deep down we are afraid of disappointment, we're afraid of disappointing someone, we're afraid of disappointing our parents, that they've had it hard, so we take on those beliefs and we make it hard for ourselves. We make it hard for ourselves. Wherever your life is hard, you're making it hard for yourself. Took me a long time to believe, still coming up. It will always be maybe some layer left until we completely change our mindset. Of course, it's continuous, it's a long-term journey, it's a work. But only awareness about whatever's running in my mind, my thoughts, what I have learned to tell myself about myself, especially regarding self-value, whatever's coming up for you in your mind, write it down and observe it. Because this is just the story you have adopted, you have learned to tell yourself. This is just a story and you can change the story because you are writing your story going forward. From now forward, whatever happens in your reality, this is your story that you now choose. Maybe 80% or no one knows, but maybe even 99% of the thoughts, we keep carrying them with us. We rarely implement new ones if we're not doing it consciously, if we're not doing on a daily basis, implementing affirmations, which is a selection of thoughts. I am satisfied with myself is an example of an affirmation. This is a choice we choose to implement. We have to decide to create and to mind program, to put into our mind new thoughts. Otherwise, we're running on the old ones, where you condition yourself based on what you've heard. You base your self-value on something external. I'm not good enough. All of this is the negative polarity of something neutral. Your worth here isn't defined by anything outside. You're not enough even, because that's a polarity statement, but you are here, you are a being to be here. There's no deserving to be here or deserving money. There's no deserving a good life. You chose to come here and you can choose how your life turns out, how you're going to experience this life. You choose what thoughts you're going to experience, what's going to be running in your head. If it's going to be, yeah, go, you're amazing, you're the best, Christina, you're the best in the world. And you can change this mindset for your mind to be a tool supporting you on every step. By programming, you can achieve to change the mindset and you choose it. You choose if in your mind you're gonna be talking to yourself as you're the loser, again you did something wrong, why again you're so stupid. However you talk to yourself in your mind, that's a choice. That's what you have implemented in your mind. You must change this so that you're okay with what you're telling yourself. Whenever you're putting yourself down with your thoughts, one, it might not even be your thoughts. It might be, let's say, inherited or adopted thoughts that you have been hearing. Those are the same thoughts that are from your parents, their parents. It's just in the line until someone changes it. Many of the tops along the generations, a lot changes, right? Because usually we can't say that now it's a healing time and our parents haven't. I sometimes saw this on Instagram, that the line has been just carrying on the same heaviness, the same thoughts, and now we're the ones healing. I can't believe this, because every generation brings something, changes something for their children. Because always we think, my parents did it a certain way, I surely don't want to do this the same way, so I'm going to do the opposite. But there are some things that we don't even realize because we are okay with them, and we're going to do it the same exact way as our parents and their parents, of course, but always there will be a change. Never it will be, or it's less likely that it would be just, there would be no evolution, because that wouldn't make sense. We wouldn't have all this stuff that has been created for our benefit, right? Look at all the stuff that has been, we have roads, we have places to live in, we have so much food available, we have so much information. Okay, so if the intention ever was negative, always the intention of people is positive, the best. Everyone is doing it with the best intention based on the understanding they have. Everyone is actually doing their best based on the understanding they have, and also the thoughts they're telling themselves about themselves. So if ever we felt like someone has harmed us, inside, this was the story they were telling themselves, made them do this as a best decision. Always, this is a paradox. Well, we sometimes see, it seems like someone has harmed us in a certain way, someone has abandoned us, or someone has said bad things. But always trust that the person is doing the very best with the understanding, with their story, with their mindset. The story they're telling themselves is the mindset. And they're doing the very best. We're doing always the best decisions for us and the ones around us. We always think we're doing the best decisions. Okay, and so then, if we're always doing the best decision for us and the ones around us, why would we be changing our mindset? Why do we want this, right? Why do we want to consciously change our thoughts? Well, because if you start supporting yourself, if you start telling yourself a different story about not anymore how worthless you are, but how amazing you are, only focusing on healing that you define your worth, you define that you're enough, you define that you deserve everything, because you don't have to deserve everything, you just have to receive it. You just have to take it without judgment of this is not good enough, or I'm not good enough for this. This comes to relationship, this comes to money, this comes to health, even health. Because the body, for example, is regenerating itself all the time, until we put in a belief, I always get sick, or I always have to live in pain. My life is painful. This is a belief that we're telling ourselves. This is connecting to chronic pain. But it's so strong, our mind is so strong that it creates the situations for us. So if we choose to believe, I'm always sick, I always get sick, I'm always in pain, this is going to be the reality. okay? Instead of choosing my life is pain-free. Then it can start coming up, the stuff, the emotions that have been locked in the painful situation, the energy closed in our bodies, in our mindset, wherever, the energy that's not in motion anymore, but it's saved. If we change the belief, then it can open and the stuff can come up. So it's very important of being aware of your thoughts and also being aware that everything is programming your mind. Everything you hear, everything you see, I have here. Education, parents, television, Netflix, books, people, your own affirmation. All of this stuff, every film, everything you watch, it's saved there. It's the stuff. Especially if you have in human design opened head center, where you're receiving like a sponge, you receive all the stuff. Of course it's going to become too much. Of course it's going to become overwhelming. Of course anxiety wants to make you closer. Doesn't want to receive any more stuff. You must make the selection. You consciously must make the selection. You must write out or understand or learn to observe whatever is in your mind, in your stuff. Write it out in your journal. And you must see, okay, this is my starting point. This is where I'm now. I'm overwhelmed, maybe, however I'm feeling right now. This is the starting point. Moving on, I choose consciously my thoughts. I choose where I put my attention to what thoughts. And whenever thoughts are coming up, those thoughts that were there before, because it's obviously the change doesn't come like that because the thoughts are connected. So they're like a net of belief systems. Okay, the limiting beliefs is one connects to another one to another one. Okay, so it's not only I'm worthless, I'm not good enough, whatever you've been told, whatever you have learned to believe, it's all connected. So once you start changing one, then the whole system is going to crumble and fall apart. It might be uncomfortable in the beginning, but it has to reprogram itself. You have to continue along the way every single day, a little bit. Every single day I choose one new thought, for example, okay? And I repeat it until I believe it, for example, or I do whatever I need to do for changing my reality to believe it. And from there, the change can happen. So then the mind comes back to me. So then whenever I have to do something scary, the mind says, yeah, you can do it. Don't worry. You're amazing. You can do it. Instead of putting me down back to where I was. Instead of keeping me in the comfort zone of, no, you can't go out there on Instagram talking lives. What are people gonna think? What are whoever gonna think? Or you can't start being a vlogger and vlogging on YouTube, or you can't do this and that, okay? That's where we keep ourselves safe. The mind wants to be always safe. The mind doesn't really want new thoughts, but we have the mind as a tool. We must understand that our mind is a tool. We must be using it. Otherwise, it starts using us, but it doesn't know how to use us. So it only gives us the thoughts we have adopted, we have put in there. Okay, so it only plays back our beliefs to us whenever the crisis comes, because when the crisis comes, when the situation arises, that conflict or some action that comes up with a reaction, any situation that becomes triggering for us and repeats itself. I have my one right now. It's very funny because I've been working on this a long time, but still these situations, of course they arise, of course, because always there's something for us to learn, to change, and then they disappear, and then it becomes the opposite, because we often want to choose something, but we're not ready to replace it. We want to change something, but we're not ready to replace it with the new thought. So, for example, we want to have more money, but we still want to be the victim of our old beliefs, and we still want to believe life is hard and earning money is hard. But if we take this away from ourselves, there's void, there's emptiness. So we must choose which of them we're going to accept, which of them we're going to receive, which scenario of whatever we are telling ourselves we're going to receive. I had a lot more comments, but I got a bit overwhelmed. I have some more comments, so I'm just maybe going to run through them, even though it's 36 already. I'm trying to keep the lives to half an hour, but this is very important, so maybe I'll just run through these thoughts quickly. So you should not define yourself based on your thoughts. There is a database of thoughts inside your mind right now, and that is limited to your experience so far and your beliefs from education, from whatever you received. The different thoughts are connected to different situations based on your experience. Yeah, so view this, become an observer of this. And you are not your thoughts, you are being, okay? And you have your mind here as a tool to create what you believe in. You have the freedom to choose what you want to believe, which many of us aren't aware we can do this, but we choose what we want to believe, and it's wow, liberating and wow, mind-blowing, can be overwhelming. Yeah, the possibilities can be overwhelming, but there's no need for you to be overwhelmed. You choose to be overwhelmed. And you have the freedom to choose what you want to believe. You choose what you expose yourself to, and this way you program your mind. This is also a good one. We choose ourselves, especially if we're overwhelmed. We have this great ability that when we're overwhelmed, especially with all this available technology and stimulation, let's say, so we're already overwhelmed, but we don't choose to go rest. We choose to put more in, to avoid whatever overwhelmness is there, and we choose to go and receive more. Receive more of television, of music, we don't want the mind actually to cleanse itself, because naturally it would cleanse itself. It would calm down, let's say. It would connect itself with our intuition, and it would regulate itself, but we often block this self-regulation, the self-healing. That's how I also talk about self-healing. And okay, so yeah, education, I talked about this, your affirmation. You implement these thoughts and they multiply, and that is how you direct the course of your life. But if you define yourself with a thought, for example, then that multiplies if you choose to define yourself with that. And firstly, you don't need to deserve anything. Yeah, it's your natural right to live here, eat, have money. It's all natural, but we're experts in blocking the natural flow based on these stories, okay, we tell ourselves, based on limitations we present ourselves with. No, I can't take money from you because I'm taking it from you. We can't see it as, okay, now you help me, I receive it, I accept it, then I help someone else. The way I help myself, if I need it, maybe right now I need it and I can receive it. It's temporary and it doesn't define me. Grateful for it, and then as I heal my reality, I heal the others around me, I inspire others to heal themselves. Okay, I choose to take that time for me to heal, for example. You're not your thought. The thought is an illusion floating in your mind that you have learned to identify yourself with. Those are the stories in our head. And you're neutral, so you can be anything negatively or positively. You can ever be right or wrong. You can't be better or worse than anyone. You are part of the whole. Yeah, this is a good closing layer, that we're part of the whole. We can never be more or less than anyone. All at the same line, basically. It's hard to believe, all neutral, and all here for an experience, for a life experience. But it is about what we choose to tell ourselves, and therefore our reality forms accordingly from the mindset we have, what we allow and don't. So, thank you for being here. Thank you. 40 minutes. But it's alright. I think it was very important. And I'll see you tomorrow on the next live. This week I'll be moving from country to country. So it might be a different time for the lives. But tomorrow, 11 London time, still be here. So then I'll inform you if the timing changes. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching from the recording. You can replay this whenever you want. I'll save this on my page. Have an